welcome to the Vanarama National League highlight show on BT Sport. Over the next half an hour, we'll bring you the best of this weekend's action. But we start by looking back at the midweek results.
Leaders Leyton Orient dropped points in their draw at Eastleigh on Tuesday. The O's fell behind 10 minutes before the interval when Josh Hare headed home from Mark Yates's cross. But the away side salvaged a point when the league's joint top scorer Macaulay Bonne grabbed his 12th of the season. Those drop points by the O's gave Salford the chance to move back to the top, and they duly obliged with a 3-1 victory at Barnet. Tom Walker and Mark Shelton completing the turnaround after the hosts had gone ahead in the first half. Right there with the leaders are Wrexham. Luke Young's strike in the first period was enough to mean all 3 points against Hartlepool, moving Sam Rickett's men up to second, adrift of top spot on goal difference only. After losing 6-0 at home to Fylde last weekend, Maidenhead suffered their second crushing defeat in 72 hours after their visit to Haventon Waterlooville. Already 1-0 down, the visitors had keeper Carl Pentney sent off in the 36th minute. With no sub-keeper on the bench, defender Alan Massey was forced to take the gloves. The hosts eventually went on to hit 7, leaving Alan Devonshire's side hovering just 2 points above the drop zone. Also at the wrong end of the table, Braintree, who are experiencing a mini revival under caretaker boss Hakan Hay-Retton. They recorded their second victory in a row and just their third of the season with a 4-2 win at Bromley. Lyle Della Verde and Rhys Grant with the pick of the goals for the Essex side. There's been no such change in fortune for Dover, who remain rooted to the bottom following a 2-0 loss to fellow strugglers Dagenham and Redbridge. First half goals from Ollie Adeloy and Harry Pips left Andy Hessenthaler still after his first win since being reappointed as manager.
Harrogate Town have made an impressive start to life in the National League since being promoted from the National League North last season. A big part of that recent success has been boss Simon Weaver, who's overseen some major changes at the North Yorkshire club since being appointed in 2009. We sent the BT Sport cameras down to Wetherby Road on Tuesday as the 40-year-old prepared his side to face Barrow.
I think Harrogate Town are on the map now for playing fast, effective football at this level of football. We've got a real good atmosphere within the club because we run it on values. A lot of visitors come into Harrogate to go to Betty's, many delis and restaurants, and football wasn't trendy, it wasn't a fashionable place to come and watch a game because there's so many better distractions than the football club. The average attendance when I first took over was about 200 and 300, and right now, they were published last week, it's just over 1,700. There's pride in the badge now, and there wasn't. If there's pride behind it and there's good people, good ethos, good work ethos, it means so much to a town. So obviously it means so much to me when, say, hey, Harrogate Town are doing well and they want to talk about the football club rather than me putting a hoodie up and going into a shop and getting off home quickly. It's been a bit of a dream, but we're not starry-eyed, you know, we're seriously ambitious, we want to do well.
Simon's side trailed 1-0 against Barrow, but a spirited half-time talk rallied his team.
It's nearly, men. Don't turn into nearly, men. We're 3 points off the top of the league.
It was a speech which inspired them to a 4-2 victory on the night to move to within 2 points of league leaders Salford. Weaver kept his winning side together as they welcomed Chesterfield, a team that will win less in 15 games. 5 consecutive draws had seen Martin Allen's side 1 point from the bottom 4 heading into Saturday afternoon. The best chances in the first half fell to Harrogate, but they failed to make them count. Jack Muldoon first with a volley which was fired over the crossbar, before Joe Leasley's effort was dealt with by keeper Callum Burton. It wasn't long into the second half when the visitors broke the deadlock with their first shot on target. Jerome Bingham-Williams supplying the cross to Jonathan Smith, who tapped in past James Belshaw for his 3rd goal in 3 games. Another chance fell to Harrogate when Mark Beck got his head to Leasley's cross. Chesterfield defender Lawrence Maguire was on hand this time to clear it off the line. And as the hosts looked like they were staring at just their third league defeat, substitute Aaron Williams rescued a point with a final finishing touch of the game recorded at 97 minutes, 1-1 at full time.
We openly admit that we didn't build the attacks in the manner that we've become accustomed to. So it was an afternoon of frustration. Only relieved a little bit, obviously, because of the last-ditch equaliser. But I thought we deserved it in terms of the chances that we created, albeit we weren't anywhere near our best.
Our players showed great character. Coming here, second game on Astro in a week. I thought we were very competitive. We were tenacious. We were throwing our bodies in the way of everything they threw at us. But from a corner right at the end, we just couldn't manage to keep them out.
Salford City went to Eastleigh top of the league and unbeaten in 15, but the Spitfires had strong form on their side, losing only one of their previous 9. With half an hour gone at the Silver Lake Stadium, a free kick for the home team, which ended in Alex Winter heading over the bar. On the other side of the break, Mark Yates raced past Salford's defence, and while he was unable to beat Chris Neal, Ben Williamson did find the net with the follow-up, scoring his second of the campaign. From a set-piece, the visitors then thought they'd equalised, but Nathan Pond's effort was ruled out for offside. In the 62nd minute came applause for Eastleigh's former player and kitman Kevin Dixon, who died aged 62. This was the first time these two had played one another, and with darkness setting in, Rory Gaffney went close. Supporters of the hosts would have been thinking it was 3 points in the bag come the 90th minute. That was until Louis Maynard popped up to score for the first time in the National League since November 2016.
Look, we should have won the game. I think everyone here today would probably say the same. I think their manager will probably be honest and say the same thing as well. Overriding emotion is on how proud of the boys I am, and a good performance I think everyone's here put on today.
Over to Wrexham, who were level on points with Salford going into the weekend. Gateshead with the team in the way of them going top of the table, but they'd have to be at their best to beat the Dragons, who were unbeaten at the racecourse all season. The hosts were given a helping hand inside the first 20 minutes when Paul Rutherford's strike was deflected past Ainsley Pears. The only relief for Fraser Kerr is that our pictures show the final touch was from Mike Williamson. Into the second half, and Rutherford proved pivotal again, providing the cross to Brad Walker, who headed in goal number 2. Fans may have been forgiven for feeling nervous for the final few minutes when the Heed pulled one back, Luke Armstrong stabbing one home despite Wrexham's best efforts. But Rakeal Pike settled them immediately. His 5th goal of the season, securing the 3 points and launching Wrexham to the top of the league for the first time since September.
Today we showed what we can do. We've moved the ball well at times, really well at times, and really controlled a game against a good side. Gateshead are a good side, having a good season. So the overall performance was really pleasing today, and to get the 3 points as well was excellent.
You're top of the league, how's that feel?
Yeah, pleased. I think Jurgen Klopp said last week he's always wanted to be top of the league, and we all want to be there. I just want to be there after 46 games, not 19.
AFC Fylde and Leyton Orient went into their clash at Mill Farm with just 2 defeats from 36 matches combined this season. This was also a face-off between 2 of the National League's leading attackers, Macaulay Bonne and Danny Rowe. Immediately, both sides sought to attack. Nick Houghton linked up well with Zane Francis Angol, being able to tee up Serhat Tazdemir, who was unable to finish an excellent Fylde move. Still inside the first 5 minutes, the quick Josh Karoma made defending difficult for the home team, allowing Bonne to become the division's outright top scorer with 13. A quarter of an hour later in the northwest, not wanting to be upstaged, Rowe went low to equalise for Fylde. For him, goal number 12 of the campaign. With only a couple of minutes left of the first half in the northwest, the talented Karoma was again a danger. After beating 2 men, he found the top corner to put the O's back in front, 2-1. Just in Edinburgh's visitors are proving to be formidable on the road as they're yet to lose away from East London. A few minutes after the restart, man of the match, Karoma, added a second, taking his tally for the campaign to 5. Orient move up to second with such an important victory. It was only a second loss of the season, meanwhile, for Fylde.
It was an excellent performance. We come in with real intent, and I thought we looked really dangerous on the counter-attack and valuable 3 points against one of our rivals.
If they're the benchmark, then I'm pretty pleased with where we're at. I hate losing, but there's plenty of positives to take in from a defeat.
A London derby awaited fans at Gander Green Lane, where Sutton United hosted East London neighbours Dagenham and Redbridge for the 6th time. Paul Doswell's side had been victorious in all previous encounters, but after lifting themselves out of the bottom 4, the visitors were targeting a 3rd win in a row. Tom Ballawinwa's half volley in the first half came within inches of sending Sutton on their way, but they had to be patient. Charlie Clough also going close, but denied by the fingertips of Elliot Justin. A good save from the Dagenham number 1, but the breakthrough will be one he won't want to watch again. It came just before the hour mark when Nicky Bailey's shot was parried into the path of Kieran Cadogan, who pounced on the rebound to score his 2nd goal of the season. They could have had a second, courtesy of Craig Eastmond, who tested Justin's resolve once again, the keeper redeeming himself. A double substitution for Dagenham and a last-ditch attempt from the visitors almost paid off when Shamir Mullings came close to an equaliser, but Jamie Butler wasn't to be beaten. Sutton break into the top 7, whilst Dagenham drop back into the bottom 4.
Because of the way the fixtures come out, Solihull, Moors and Boreham Wood hadn't played one another in almost a year, sharing a goalless draw last December. The first chance of any note involved Moore's Jamie Reckford, but from a cross, Kyle Storer was unable to direct a header goalward. Alex Gudger was also unable to find the target in a clash not exactly full of end-to-end quality. On New Year's Day, Solihull had been bottom of the league, eventually coming 18th. Kwame Thomas went closest to getting the better of Ryan Huddart, as this clash, a forgettable one, once again ended 0-0.
A spark on Bonfire weekend was needed to help both Dover and Maidenhead reignite their season as they went head-to-head at Crabble. The hosts had just 8 points to show from their 18 games, whilst the Magpies had lost the last 5, conceding 21 goals and scoring 1. Andy Hesenthaler's side showed confidence from the start. Stuart Lewis trying his luck with a long-range volley, but keeper Nick Haman was alert to the danger. Lewis then turned provider with a superb cross for Bobby Joe Taylor, who was denied by the woodwork. Despite the early signs, it was Maidenhead who almost grabbed the first goal when the Dover defence didn't deal with the long ball forward, the chance falling to James Akintunde, who was kept out by Mitch Walker. The Whites responded immediately to the scare, breaking the deadlock just before half-time. Kevin Locko marking his 23rd birthday with the opening goal from Mitch Brundle's free kick. Dover twice failed to beat Maidenhead last season, but they made this one safe with a second goal. Taylor on the break, setting up substitute Joy Reason, who curled it into the top corner to open his account on his 3rd appearance and marking the club's first win at the 15th attempt.
You know, they're going to make decisions wrong at times with the football, but the main thing is the bread and butter stuff is giving 100%. I said that to him in there, not no more than 100% because you can't get that. Give me 100% in the football club and that's your 100%. You know, we keep doing that from now to the end of the season. I believe we can keep this group up and stay in this division.
Braintree Town were at Aldershot, unbeaten in 3 under caretaker boss Hacken Hay Retton. The hosts, meanwhile, had lost only 1 in 5. The visitors had the best chance of the first period as Justin Amalazor broke out wide, teeing up strike partner Virgil Gomis, whose goal-bound effort was blocked by Gabriel Osho. With 7 minutes to go, a free kick for Shots. In some style, Adam McDonnell found the top corner to make it 3 goals in his last 3 home matches. Aldershot have now lost only 1 of their previous 6.
It's difficult when you've got 3 games in a week. I thought both teams dropped off the pace towards the end and it was always going to take one moment. And Adam took that. It was a fantastic free kick. and it's a funny old game because the amount of chances we created on Tuesday, no doubt we deserved the 3 points, and today, you know, Branch, you could argue they deserved a point, which we couldn't argue with, really.
To Hayes Lane, where both Bromley and Hartlepool had lost back-to-back games. 8 points and 8 places separated the two as they met for the first time this season. 12 minutes in and Hartlepool handed the hosts a penalty when Adam Meckie was bundled over inside the box by Miles Anderson. Frankie Sutherland converted from the spot, sending Scott Loach the wrong way. But it got much worse for the visitors in the second half as they conceded the first of 3 more just after the hour mark. Richard Brindley catching them in possession, with Omar Bagil drilling home his 4th goal in 4 games. The former Forest Green forward was racing through for a second when he was brought down by Peter Chioso, who'd already stamped his name in the referee's book. Another penalty and a red card for the young defender, who's now been handed 8 cautions this season. A carbon copy spot kick from Sutherland made it 3-0. There was no comeback from Hartlepool, who fell to their heaviest defeat in almost a year when Neil Smith's side made it 4. Bagil turning provider as his cross was converted by George Porter. The win moves them up 3 places in the table.
Havant and Waterlooville looked to follow up their impressive midweek thrashing of Maidenhead by taking on FC Halifax for the first time. Just minutes into the second half, the visitors failed to deal with a home corner, and Tyler Cordner took advantage, netting for the second time this week. Cordner's on loan from Bournemouth. Aside from going for another 3 points, Havant hadn't won consecutive games all season. Past the hour mark, resilient Brad Tarbuck slid in a cross which was finished off by Alfie Rutherford, 2-0 to the Hawks. There were close to 10 minutes to go at Westley Park. Spotting an opening, the Shaman's Niall Mayer decided to go for goal from distance. His effort was poorly spilt by Ben Dudzinski. It's the first league goal of Mayer's career. After allowing Halifax back into the clash, Havant then had a brilliant chance to be sure of all 3 points. 2 subs combined as Aaron Cosgrave set up Alex Bradley, but Bradley blasted the ball out of the ground. Then right at the end came a silly red card for the hosts. A melee involving Will Wood led to the defender being sent off by referee Will Finney. It finished 2-1, however, as back-to-back victories this week for Havant lifts them out of the relegation zone on goal difference.
The last time Barnet welcomed Maidstone, they were both competing in the old Division 4. The Bees won 3-2 that day and went on to make the playoffs. 26 years on, they're 5 places away from the promotion spots in the 5th tier, whilst Harry Wheeler's side were in the bottom 4. It was the visitors who struck first. Jake Cassidy allowed to run at the Barnet back line before playing in captain Blair Turgott, who slotted home his 10th of the season. And it was Cassidy who waltzed his way into the area for the second. His shot was saved by Mark Cousins, but Gold on Mateo hit the jackpot. Maidstone's first win in 6 moves them up to 18th.
Brilliant execution of the game plan. You know, we worked all week, and as a coach and managers, we can give them the idea of what to do to win a game. But they're the ones that will go and execute it, and I thought they were superb today. I don't even look at the table. I wouldn't know where we are. I wouldn't go home and look. You know, we just keep plugging away game by game, keep pushing on, and you know, we'll find out, you know, later on in the season where we're sitting.
Barrow had lost 3 in a row, but faced Ebbsfleet United, a team with just 1 home victory all season. Daryl McMahon's men weren't too far away from taking a first-minute lead as Chris Bush's free kick stung the palms of the visitors' Joel Dixon. Still in the first half at the Cufflink Stadium, John Rooney and Erico Souza linked up well. Sam Magri almost turned the ball into his own net, rescued in the end by his goalkeeper Nathan Ashmore. Then came a mistake at the back by Ian Evert's side. Kyle Jameson allowed in Danny Kedwell, who scored at home for the first time since April. The goal proved to be the winner as unbeaten in 3 Fleet move up to 15th in the table.
Leadership at the top of the National League table has changed hands once again as Wrexham moved to the summit thanks to that 3-1 victory over Gateshead. Also winning 3-1 were Leyton Orient, who are up to second. Graham Alexander's Salford slipped to third after only managing a draw at Eastleigh. Elsewhere, Sutton's narrow win over Dagenham and Redbridge means Paul Doswell's men sneak into the playoff places. At the bottom, Dover remain rooted to the foot of the table despite their first win since August. Jumping out of the relegation places are Havant and Waterlooville, who followed their 7-0 midweek thrashing of Maidenhead by taking all 3 points against Halifax. And Martin Allen's Chesterfield stay out of the drop zone on goal difference after a 97th minute Harrogate equaliser denied the Spireites their first victory in 16 games. Now Andy May has our game of the week from the 6th tier.
Hosting Hemel Hempstead Town, Bath City wanted to maintain their position in the National League South playoffs. The hosts had a set piece in the second period and going for the spectacular Adam Mann, whose overhead kick was denied acrobatically by the alert Laurie Walker. Then with a quarter of an hour remaining in Somerset, a free kick for Hemel. After a flick-on from the unmarked Darren Ward, Steve Corley expertly beat his marker and slotted home, securing victory. The Tudors are now themselves only 2 points away from a playoff position.
That defeat for Bath sees them remain in 4th place. They're now 6 points behind league leaders Billericay, who came from 2-0 down to snatch a point away at Torquay. Title-chasing Welling and Woking could also only manage draws. Concord Rangers slip out of the playoff places after their 1-0 defeat at Slough. In the north, Chorley remain top despite their third defeat on the bounce at home to fellow promotion contenders Spennymoor. The leaders are now level on points with Bradford Park Avenue, who convincingly beat York City 4-1 away from home. And there was a shock result at Agborough as high-riding Kidderminster lost 4-1 to relegation-threatened Southport, the away side winning for just the second time this season. Before we leave, there's just time to tell you about another jam-packed weekend of football on BT Sport. We begin on Saturday lunchtime with action from the FA Cup first round, when Maidenhead will look to put their recent poor league form to the side as they host 2008 winners Portsmouth. Then from 5 o'clock that evening, there's live Premier League football as Spurs make the short trip to Crystal Palace. On Sunday, there's more Premier League action as Liverpool look to maintain their title charge when they entertain Fulham. That's live from 11:30. Following that, it's back to the FA Cup as League 2 Port Vale take on former Premier League side Sunderland. Coverage for that one starts at 2:15. And finally on Monday the 12th of November, we see if National League South side Hampton and Richmond can put their name in the hat for the second round when they host Oldham. All of those games can be seen exclusively live on BT Sport 1 HD and on our 4K UHD channel. That's it for another week of Vanarama National League action. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again soon.